Why is it the Live Tour can get a TV deal and the Pac-12 can't get a TV deal?
Hey, thanks for watching Numbskull News. And today we got to discuss Dan Patrick. What the hell is this man doing? He's got me befuddled. Like, look, y'all know who Dan Patrick is, right? He all over ESPN for years, media game for decades and decades. He's a brand. We all know this, Adam Sandler movies and all that crap. But all of a sudden, he's going to get into this realignment game? What? And I guess, I could buy it. Like I said, the man's been around forever. So maybe he has something to offer. At least that's what I thought. Now, look, Dan Patrick is a talented man. Like in my opener, that says something a little quirky or whatever. That's what he does best, right? A little smart assery. Look, let me play it for you again, just to, give you that example.
Why is it the Live Tour can get a TV deal and the Pac-12 can't get a TV deal?
All right, you see that's kind of the best of Dan Patrick. I'm not trying to belittle him all to hell, but this video that he dropped, I don't know. I don't. Just look. Watch the first clip. You'll see what I'm saying.
We know that San Diego State was opting out of the Mountain West, and they did so. And from what I'm told, they had to do so before June 30th, or they were going to pay even more of an exit fee. They had to pay, I think, $18 million, and it would have been perhaps double that if they waited after June 30th. I think San Diego State, from what I'm told, thought that the Pac-12 would then welcome them in, but the Pac-12 is waiting for a TV deal. That's what I found out Friday night.
Okay, so this Dan Patrick video was dropped like a couple of days ago, a day or two ago. So he's talking about last Friday, a week after the deadline. A deadline that we've all been talking about for months now. He just found this out last Friday. A week after the fact. What? How are you adding anything? I mean, this is just weird. And not only that, they technically did. I mean, their resignation was accepted. We've all talked about that as well by the Mountain West. But then again, they wrote other letters saying, no, we're not leaving the Mountain West. We're just intending to leave. It's like he doesn't know any of that. It's like, what are you reporting? Oh, but wait, he's gonna break some news on top of all that. He's gonna break some news, folks. Just watch.
When I got back from vacation, found one of my college football sources reached out and said, "Hey, I know that you reported San Diego State was going to go to the Pac-12 months ago. From what I'm finding out, it feels like it's close to being a done deal that San Diego State is going to go to the Pac-12. They're waiting for the TV deal to be announced."
This is truly mind-boggling. I mean, his source telling him on a piss yellow phone that, telling him what? Is he reading like old articles from Dennis Dodd or Brett McMurphy or Andrew Marchand? I mean, I'm struggling here. Because I know Dan Patrick is a good media person, talented individual, big name. He's got over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now is that gigantic? No, but I mean, that to have name value, you should expect at least somewhere around there. What it seems like is like someone informed him of the numbers that Realignment Talk has been doing. I mean, if you remember, like Golden Blue Dude, R.I.P., rest in peace, before he passed, his channel was exploding. He had over 14,000 subscribers, and he's not the only one that's seen that kind of growth. I mean, even my minuscule channel, I'm steadily trucking towards that 1,000 subscriber mark, more so than I've ever done before talking realignment. You know, however you want to feel about the Monty Show, but they're growing exponentially. 365 Sports has blown the hell up through realignment. John Kurtz has blown up with realignment. Kuz's Corner, a lot of the smaller creators like me have blown the hell up. And I think he's looking at that and said, whoa, well, hold on. I'm Dan Patrick. Let's get in on some of this, gang. You know, let's blow up a little bit. Let's see if we can catch Pat McAfee. Well, you're not going to catch Pat McAfee, especially when you're trying to blow everybody's mind with this inside sources of crap and talking about old news. I mean, this would have been really interesting a year ago. In this video, if you get it, you know, fire up the old flux capacitor and watch this from a year ago, okay, you got a little something. But this shit is ancient news. It's embarrassing. And it doesn't stop.
Is SMU going to join the Pac-12? SMU's presence in Texas is huge.
We got to find out who this source is. SMU's presence in Texas is huge. Well, let me see if I can do the math here. There's University of Texas. There's A&M. There's Baylor. There's TCU. There's Texas Tech. There's Oklahoma. Oklahoma State. There's 7 teams right there with a bigger presence in Texas than SMU. And UTSA is on the come up. They're coming. If the Mean Green have one good season, UNT will start to get on their coattails. They're like the number 8 team in Texas. The only reason it's the number 8 team because Texas is freaking enormous. And it's got a ton of schools. That's it. We are not talking about the 8th team in any other state outside of maybe California, maybe Florida. We're not talking about the number 8 school. But who is this source? Who is this this maniac source, you know, of all this, you know, the Wizard of Oz type of source shooting information into Dan Patrick's piss yellow phone? I gotta know.
And my source said, who's affiliated, at least on the periphery, with San Diego State.
He's on the periphery of San Diego State? What does that mean? Is this just someone who has season tickets? Is this just maybe a booster? You know, maybe he's a dentist. Maybe he's a doctor who has a residence. Maybe he's an orthopedic guy. Maybe he's someone who worked on Dan Patrick's foot. He's an alumni of San Diego State, you know, and he's a donor. And he's got season tickets. Is that who your source is? I mean, you can't make this shit up. How is someone who's kind of sort of around San Diego State, how do they know anything about what the Pac is doing? I mean, look, the reason I'm making this video, y'all, is because creators like myself and a lot of other people, of course, way bigger channels than mine, we've all been like, you know, mining for information on realignment. It's like these dorks out there with you know, a whole room with just nothing but supercomputers and CPUs and shit, you know, like mining for like Bitcoin and shit. That's what we've been doing. You know, the Greg Flugars of the world, you know, like I said, the Kuz's Corner, the John Kurtz, the 365, everybody. And then he comes along with just, oh, hey guys, here's a bunch of no news. What? And you're getting it from a source that's kind of sort of connected to San Diego State. But hey, let's hear more from the source.
Said that SMU, the presence in Texas, is really important. And that's what it is. It's almost like a game of Risk, but it's the United States, where these conferences want states. They want to be able to dominate a state, have a presence in a state.
I love how he says dominate a state. Like getting SMU would dominate Texas. But he quickly corrects the presence. Yeah. Let's don't overstate it. And it's not about a state. It's not really even about a real winning tradition. Or maybe it used to have a winning tradition. It's about the brand. However you got there. It's about having a brand for matchups with other brands. That's mainly what it's about. There's a lot of factors of realignment that we have talked about ad nauseum, but it's like he's just learning this shit. And then he's got his piss yellow phone. He's going to break it down for us. Thank God. We've been out here twisted in the wind like a blind man with diarrhea and has no idea where the bathroom is. He's just spinning his shit, and that's all we've been doing. Thank God there's Dan Patrick to guide us to the porta potty of information. Good God Almighty.
That's why San Diego State to the Pac-12, you got to have them because you have to have a school in Southern California. You don't have that since UCLA and USC are going to the Big Ten.
Hold on. He did break news. USC and UCLA are going to the Big Ten. Why isn't anyone else covering this shit?
And then I asked my source, I said, well, there's been reports of maybe Boise State. My source said academics will be a negative with Boise State, with Pac-12 and their standards, and they don't have great sports teams in other sports.
Y'all, he's pretending to read the phone. he's like, and he said the academics is it's gonna be a problem, and the Pac-12, and he's like, well, like, why don't you just read it, right? The dude is giving you this information, this inside scoop about Boise State to the Pac, right? No one else has talked about Boise State to the Pac or any other team to the Pac. It's all right there on your phone. Why are you looking away from your phone and just making shit up and then, let me get back to the phone. Let me pretend to scroll. This has got to be a bit. There's no other explanation. This man needs to go to the hospital. I mean, the sad thing, it just doesn't stop.
And then I asked about UNLV, and my source said, I don't get it, but unless it's to have presence in Vegas, then I understand that.
Has not every single solitary realignment channel, college football channel, talked about that? Whether they support the Pac, whether they support the Big 12 or the Big 10 or the SEC or the ACC, everybody's talked about that. Everybody. What the fuck?
Boise State, I guess, is a chance. It was referred to me as a long shot, but my source said, I said, is it a long shot? And he goes, well, it's questionable. And I said, what about UNLV? He goes, questionable, but they may be looking to add 4 schools here. They're going to add 2, but do you add 2 more, and do you bring in UNLV, and do you bring in Boise State? Those are just some of the things that have been, I guess, behind the scenes transpiring here since San Diego State opted out of the Mountain West. And
I love that at the end he doesn't know what to do with his phone. He's like, oh, I forgot to read the fucking thing. I forgot to keep up the illusion like I'm reading some shit. What the hell is going on with Dan Patrick, y'all? Look, you're a little behind on the times. You're a little behind on the news, buddy. You got to do a lot of research. Trust me. The only reason I've done any kind of research, because it's really fascinated me and interested me, and I know it has with so many other people, and ever since Texas and Oklahoma left, man, I've been getting more and more and more into this shit. You're talking the last 2 years. And I think everybody, that's interested in realignment has been really digging in, coming up with their own speculation, trying to figure out what media experts think about this or that, people with actual sources. What are those sources saying? Yada, yada, yada. This is unbelievable. It's like, dude, you can't just come with some bullshit, basic bullshit like that, and use your name Dan Patrick with some basic bullshit and think that, oh, here come all the subscribers now, we're gonna get to 1 million. Not like that, you ain't. I mean, maybe people in his audience didn't really talk about it, didn't really care. I mean, I didn't know Dan Patrick broke the news that San Diego State was a target of the pack. Had no idea. I want you to rewatch this part of this clip, and you tell me, is he just full of shit? I mean, I'm sorry, but it's like blatant.
Boise State, I guess, is a chance. It was referred to me as a long shot, but my source said, I said, is it a long shot? And he goes, well, it's questionable.
My source said it was a long shot, referred to it as a long shot. So I asked him, is it a long shot? Well, it's questionable. I mean, what? When you can't lie effectively, you can't even fake it. You know what I'm saying? Dude, just stay in your lane. Look, if you have some interest in it, cool, Mr. Patrick. There's a lot of great channels out here you can watch and educate yourself on what's going on. Stop coming up with some fake ass source who's kind of sort of around the San Diego State program, who, I'm sorry, doesn't know dick about what the pack is doing or planning or anything. Because right now, San Diego State is trying like hell to get back into the Mountain West because they don't know what the pack is doing. The president of San Diego State has no clue. No clue what that conference is doing or their media deal. Or they wouldn't be trying to get back in the Mountain West. Stop being full of shit. Be happy with your 300,000 subscribers, sir. Stop being a fake.
A lot of people looked at that and said, boy, they made a mistake there. No, they know what they're doing. I think they thought that the Pac-12 was going to embrace them and say, come on in, San Diego State.
Again, he only has like the first letter they sent. Doesn't have all the other letters. Look, this is one of two things. One of two things is true right now with Dan Patrick. All right. Either he sees the realignment numbers and wants to get in on it, and now he's faking it, trying to be like, ooh, look at me. I'm like all Greg Flugar type of guy. Ooh. Next thing you know, there's going to be a Dan Patrick theater somewhere. Next thing you know, it's going to have the Patrick Corner. Dan Patrick's Numbskull Hour. Whatever it is. All right. That's what he's either faking the shit out of it just to try to get a little interest, just so he can carve out a thumbnail, right, and give a headline. Oh, Dan Patrick breaking news. Dan Patrick breaking news. That way he can kind of get some of the numbers up. It's either he's being a fake bitch like that to do that, or on the positive side, he's actually ribbing everybody. This is a bit. He's like trolling all the realignment people. And if that's true, then my God, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. You got to bow down to Dan Patrick at that point. If he's just trolling people, it's a wonderful, comedic, genius level thing to do. If that's truly what's going on here. But I have this sneaking suspicion it's not. I have a suspicion that he's a pecker. That's what I think. So, never been the biggest fan of Dan Patrick. I never gave two shits about what he does. I've never been a listener or anything. I catch a clip now and again. I just happened to stumble upon this one, which I had to look. I'm like, is this from like 2022? Like, no, it said July 8th. It's like July 7th or 8th. I'm like, is that 2022? Is it? It was yesterday. It said 8 hours ago. Posted it 8 hours ago. It's the most puzzling thing, dude. So, y'all think what you want. I just had to share that. Like I said, that's my two conclusions. Either he's a complete fake fraud dipshit, some bitch who needs to stay in his lane, or he's playing, one of the most awesome freaking ribs of all time. All right, one of the greatest trolls of all time. I don't know. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out together. And y'all let me know. Maybe he's already said, "Hey, I'm just trolling everybody." Maybe he's done that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he deserves that much credit. It's my Christian side kicking in. Hey, give him a little benefit of the doubt. Well, boy, that devil in me says, nah, he's a sorry, no good son bitch, is what he's telling me. Anyway, I'll be back with some other crap some other time. Bye.